The ocean economy is a global industrial power, generating $2.5 trillion in annual value. If the ocean were a sovereign nation, its GDP would rank as the seventh largest on Earth. Global stability depends on this machinery. The ocean provides 20% of the animal protein for 3.3 billion people, while its shipping lanes move 80%. Since 2008, the number of oceanic dead zones, areas where oxygen levels are too low to support life, has nearly doubled. We have reached a mathematical impasse. Achieving a mandatory doubling of ocean production requires protecting the natural capital that makes the wealth possible. For most of history, the ocean was governed by the doctrine of freedom of the seas. This treated the majority of the water as an infinite, extractable frontier belonging to no one. UN established exclusive economic zones, maritime boundaries extending 200 nautical miles from a coastline, where a nation holds sole resource rights. Two-thirds of the ocean falls outside these zones. These high seas have historically lacked any formal legal mechanism for environmental protection. The 2023 High Seas Treaty was designed to close this jurisdictional gap. This agreement provides the legal authority to create marine protected areas in international waters. This allows for a global target of protecting 30% of the ocean by 2030. Global environmental protection requires clear jurisdictional governance. Effective management only happens when there is a legal framework to enforce it. Consider the maritime transport sector. It moves the vast majority of global trade, but it also generates approximately 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide every year. Under MARPOL Annex 6, a ship's exhaust is strictly regulated, specifically capping emissions of nitrogen oxides and sulfur. These standards are enforced geographically within emission control areas. Any ship within 200 nautical miles of the North American coast must utilize low-sulfur fuel. Enforcement bodies like the U.S. Coast Guard and the EPA monitor these zones. Violations result in civil penalties and the potential loss of air pollution prevention certificates, which are required for a ship to operate. These enforcement mechanisms transform abstract climate targets into unavoidable costs. Cargo carriers must innovate toward zero-carbon operations to maintain access to major global markets. Moving to a sustainable ocean economy requires an estimated $1.5 trillion in market funding by 2030. Public budgets cannot cover this cost alone. The UN established the Sustainable Blue Economy Finance Principles to guide private capital toward these projects. These rules ensure institutional investments are directed only toward activities that protect or maintain marine health. This flowchart illustrates a debt-for-nature swap. In 2023, the Bahamas reallocated $124 million using this structure. A portion of their national debt was forgiven in exchange for a direct commitment to fund new marine conservation zones. This evolution in financial engineering turns ecological restoration into a highly structured, risk-mitigating asset class. The trajectory of the blue economy is already set. Ocean-linked industries will continue to expand in scale throughout this decade. Following a purely extractive path will likely result in an estimated $1 trillion in annual coastal flood damages by 2050, as natural buffers vanish and food webs collapse. Scaling up international enforcement and regenerative finance could yield $15 trillion in net economic benefits by 2050. Sustainable ocean management serves as the foundational infrastructure required for the global economy to navigate the 21st century.